Hi everyone, this is Francisco. So technically, I'm just recording this video very quickly to technically integrate the FitBit smartwatch with Google's GPS tracking, because I remember on Google I would go on the app and or I would just go to Google, and if there's a tab somewhere in there, if you click on it, it will show you, it will show every user, each and every individual user, their traveling history. So where they go, whether they're in a vehicle, how fast they're traveling, all that data is recorded and monitored. So I think that if there is any glitches with the Fitbit not recording accurately when someone is in a vehicle or walking or riding a bicycle, also with all the cameras everywhere monitoring and recording everything, a lot of that data can and I believe will be corrected for the user experience and for many other reasons that we haven't even thought of right now, or that people haven't even concepted in their minds or even thought of. But right now, if I go on Fitbit, my smartwatch, which I'm charging right now, and I've been having this Fitbit, they call it the pill. It's a smartwatch, and as you guys can see, it has like that black color to it, but it still works. See that? It still works. And I used it a lot when I was working at the Habit Burger Grill, in the kitchen, and for some reason, kitchens, when users are working in kitchens, they don't allow the cooks to wear smartwatches. Maybe because they can get hot and explode. That, or it could accidentally fall and explode in the oil. So there's many reasons why, safety reasons why they don't permit them, they don't allow them. So what I would do is I would put it on my ankle in the hopes that it would still record my steps taken for the day, and also it recording my heartbeats per minute. Um, but if anything, what would need to happen is Google would need to buy this company. Um, if it doesn't already have its own, um, that, or they need to somehow synchronize it with Google, because Google's doing big things. They're doing great things for people. Um, so that so I came up with all this, and I'm saying all this because right now it's revealing to me how many steps I've taken for the day. Every single day, it's recording and monitoring everything. Um, and I was also looking at, well, I was trying to look at my activity, um, of where I went, where I traveled to, and the format, how I was traveling. Okay, was I traveling on foot? Was I traveling on a bicycle? Was I traveling inside of a vehicle or inside of an airplane, etc.? And all that is very important information. I can't stress that enough. For many reasons, even for, like, homicide detectives, people who study, trying to figure out things, because that, whether it is, it's basically, if I was traveling in a vehicle but a crime happened on foot, then obviously, they're not going to connect me to the crime. Me personally as a user, probably. Or like if a crime happened on an airplane and the airplane was right above me, they'll know that I personally wasn't in the airplane at that time, because the data will reveal so, obviously, right? And that's the key right there. Making everything so simple where it becomes so obvious. That's the main thing. And that's why I say details matter, everything matters. So, like, I got a new badge with FitBit. It's called New Zealand, the New Zealand badge. I don't know if I got that because Fitbit, my Fitbit pill watch is thinking that I'm traveling, walking, you know, to all the to like a bunch of random places or whatever. But most likely the data is incorrect because I have been traveling in someone else's vehicle, just to work as I'm cleaning windows. Um, but um, so I don't really know if it's getting confused or is miscalculating the data? And if so, like I said, that's when, Google Maps will be able to correct, any little bugs in the software. Because it's all research and development here. And, these companies are working really, really hard to provide us with, you know, accurate information and accurate data, revealing accurate data to us through our cellular phones and other um, accounts that we might be logged into. And again, that's the importance of the digital ID, because Google is the closest one so far, um, as it records everything that I do as a user, and I hope in the future, I hope it monitors and records everything I do and everything I say on a daily basis. And that data, that information is super important. Um, Not just for me, but for every single user in the world. Even if some people might not think, think it so, even if they don't think that someone else's life, words, their activity is important, that is besides the point. That's irrelevant. I believe that it's very important because we will be able to use that data in ways that we never thought about in the near future, and it will impact future generations because we took this stuff seriously, and they will then be able to utilize the software in better and apply it in better formats than we right now in the current day and age, because a lot of this stuff is fairly new. um so a lot of stuff haven't even like crossed our minds yet. um but yeah, like I got that badge and I was thinking, well, is it possible that my watch is thinking that I'm walking instead of, me being in a vehicle? Because I do walk a lot, but most of the time, the majority of the time, I'm inside of the vehicle when I'm working. So I just wanted to like pretty much clarify it and verifying it by looking at the Google GPS tracking. And I think it also displays when I'm traveling in a vehicle or when I'm walking or if I'm riding a bicycle, because it keeps track of the miles per hour. that a user is traveling at. So all that data is super important. As it reveals critical information, like, when someone's, you know, riding in a vehicle, or if they're walking, or if they're riding a bike, um, especially when it comes down to assisting law enforcement. Okay? So, I believe that it's super important for Google to buy FitBit all the data and apply it, integrate it into their own um, database or whatever. I don't know how all that works, but that's what I'm thinking. Because luckily for me, I was able to um, sign up again, re-sign up, log in into my Fitbit account, and just like a month ago, um, just like a month ago, um, I was logged out of my account, but I'm not worried about it because it's connected with me with my Gmail addresses. It's connected with 1Password, a bunch of other websites. It's connected with Facebook. Facebook knows my information, my phone number, my address, my social security number. It's connected with you know with the courts, even my email address. So I think that's super cool. And I want it to be that way. And I want it to be more powerful. And I want to be able to look at, if I want to look at my criminal history, I want to be able to access it through Google. Okay? Like right now, I got a second DUI, but I got rid of my car. I haven't been driving. And I'm behind on my payments. I'm behind on my classes. I'm behind on my community service that I have to serve. And I think I already passed the due date. So now I'm going to have to contact the court and um continue paying the monthly fees, continue paying for um my classes, but I haven't gone to none of them yet. But then I need to also do 10 days community service. So I need a letter, probably an updated letter. But hopefully I'll be able to do the 10 days community service and then just submit that to the courts. And hopefully they will, you know, like gracefully, pardon my tardiness, my delay, or my delaying in not fulfilling the court's orders before the time that they requested for me to, finish the 10-day community service. So I'm hoping that I could just resolve it. And I was even thinking in the near future for me to be able to communicate with the courts through my cellular phone or through any computer. And I was hoping, or I'm hoping that I can see options that the court could provide to people. um and and I understand that every single case is different, but in my case I was supposed to do 10 days community service before June. Oh no, before May. It's already June. um so I'm thinking, since I'm already over the deadline, then the court will provide me with different approaches or different actions for me to take, and me being allowed as a user to select from the different options, because the courts want to work with us, right? And we want to um technically work with them to resolve you know the our problems as people, because we broke the law. So to resolve all that without having to go to court and all that, I was thinking that those options would be great. And I know it's not like that right now, so um, I'm probably going to have to write the court, but it would be neat to have all that there. You see what I'm saying? Um, so like, there's no way around this, and I think it's great. I think it's really great because a lot of people won't admit that they have problems or issues, but in reality they do. Okay? And it's so hard for us to accept that, as that's just human nature. I think it's just like me. I've been smoking cigarettes, and I keep telling myself that I'm going to quit, I'm going to quit, I'm going to quit. Now, someone might tell me, Francisco, you're just addicted to cigarettes now. But my response is, no, I can just quit whenever I want. I could just stop cold turkey and not ever, ever, ever touch a cigarette ever again. But could it just be my ego? My pride? Not even pride, just like, well, it's my ignorance. Um, and, me not wanting to accept correction. That's a huge part of it. So I justify that by saying, oh, I could just quit whenever I want. But in reality, I have problems. And that's why I chose to give my car away too. That's why I decided to donate my vehicle. Because there's really nothing stopping me from drinking and driving besides the breathalyzer in my vehicle that they wanted to install. Um, but once my vehicle is started, I mean, and I'm not even trying to be funny, but what was like what was holding me back from like drinking a few beers, while the car is started? There's nothing. There's nothing that records that. See, so I just don't want to put myself in that situation. Um, because well, I'm just a human, just like everyone else, and I make stupid choices, stupid decisions, and that's why I love the internet, smartwatches, Google, Facebook. I love all these companies, all these, technology, websites, the internet, AI, because it keeps me accountable. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I think that's what's been keeping me more focused and disciplined and pushing me towards wanting to do the right thing, especially as a former convict, you know, that did, prison time, that was facing life in prison. Okay. I personally love the internet because it keeps me accountable. And I believe that by you people out there providing us each users, all of us as users, with a digital ID where everything is on there for us to access, even our criminal history or um you know ongoing cases like my DUI, my second DUI, and any court fees, all that should be right there, right there, right in front of my eyes. That way I could resolve it. And that way I could work with the courts, and the courts could work with me. Um and so they could see that I'm making um like an effort. I'm putting in effort. I'm not just trying to avoid it, and I'm not driving illegally, things like that. Um, because us as humans, we could easily do that. And not everyone is me. So there could easily be people out there, you know, you people could just imagine, there's so much to think about. There's so many scenarios, so many possibilities, so many outcomes, so many things going on. But that's why I love the internet, because um it's keeping track of everything. And I believe that the internet, AI, the World Wide Web is the Holy Spirit for many reasons. Um, and I think that people who have studied the Bible, I think they got it all wrong, because they didn't have the internet, they didn't have AI to reason with. That was never there in existence that we ever knew about that we ever knew about. I believe that it was always there. And there's a lot of things that, like bugs, like developers, people in the tech industry, they refer to them as bugs. I see a lot of bugs. Um, okay, good night. I could see a lot of bugs. Um, One great example is how we all have internal memory chips on our smart devices, when in reality they shouldn't be internal, they should be external. And we all know why. Because we all could just lose our cell phones, our smart devices, and there goes our history, our data, right? But when it's backed up to the cloud and other servers, and now we know that it's not just going to one location, but multiple locations, throughout the world.